next coast. Clear blue water, warm wind blow. Dance all night and stop the sky and wake up to a tequila sunrise.
Got something weird going on.
You turn the water into wine.
There we go.
You turn the water into wine. You know how I love Cancun. Can't wait to get back there soon. Building castles in the sand with my señorita in my hand. You turn the water into wine. You turn the water into wine.
Got it.
Way down south in Mexico. Clear blue water, warm wind blow. Dance all night and stop the sky and wake up to a tequila sunrise. Water.
Come on. We are with Christopher Giles, our March Artist of the Month. How you doing, buddy?
What is up, my friend? Boy, you just jump right into it, don't you?
I do, man.
I love it.
What is up, man? Happy Wednesday to you.
Yeah. Happy Wednesday to you, my friend. I appreciate you having me.
Man, it's great to have you on the show. I'm excited.
Yeah. Awesome. I am very excited to be here as always. Good to see you, man.
Yeah.
I know you've been busy too. I'm surprised you had a night off.
Oh man, I'm always like busy. Yeah, I know my new booking agent, who is Melissa. She's booking the heck out of me. She's better at it than I am, so I'll let her have at it. But I'm going at the end of the night, every night I'm going, oh man, I'm getting too old for this crap.
Right. Listen, you know what's funny is it's kind of like know your role, right? I mean, do what you do well, bro. Honestly, if she's good at it, let her run with it.
Absolutely, and she enjoys it. So every time she gets a booking and everything, she's like, yeah,
It's a good feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, I'm keeping busy. So what have you been up to musically lately? Are you playing out at all right now?
You know, things have been ramping back up. Obviously, last year was challenging for a lot of musicians in our area, and I'm sure globally. Really, let's be honest. But so for me, last year I chose to kind of take a step back a little bit. So now things are ramping back up. We played last week, like a week and a half ago at Post Time, and believe it or not, we have a wedding in Georgia next weekend. So going all the way to Georgia to play a wedding.
Oh, really? And
Yep.
tell everybody what band that is.
So yeah, so my cover band with Sammy, Nino, and Raleigh. One shot is kind of what we go by. And the funny thing is backing into that name was the idea of I work a full-time job, like really busy, work a lot of hours. It's high stress, high volume, but I love it. So for me, it came down to we were playing. Back when I first met you. we were playing almost every weekend, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
For
remember
years and
you were always
years.
out there. Yeah.
Yeah. So it just got to be a little much. So kind of when we kind of took a break and then came back, we're like, one shot fit us in regards to, listen, this is going to be, from a marketing perspective, it's going to be you one shot this month or you one shot, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So that's kind of how we backed into the name. Yeah. It's pretty cool. We have a good time.
that's cool, man. Well, that's when I originally first met you. I saw you. I think it was over in Windermere, over at Dexter's.
Oh yeah.
Saw one shot, and you were rocking it over there. So
Always
that's
been.
awesome. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about the the songwriting side of Christopher Giles, and then also the performer side. But since we're talking about One Shot, how can people get in touch with like you and your bookings, where you're playing with One Shot?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I tend to post, we have a Facebook page and it's Facebook, it's like / one, I think it's the One Shot Band. You know what? Let me check while I'm saying that to make sure. I think it's the One Shot Band. So we typically post there and I always do invites. And then what I'll do is I also post to your point about, I have original music page, right? Just Christopher Giles music.
Yeah, sure.
So I kind of put it on both. And then of course, like you, being it's part of our life, you know what I mean? Yeah, it is the One Shot Band. I'm going to post it on my personal page. I'm going to post it on my original page and we're going to post it on the band page. So we try to do invites and stuff like that.
Tag me, man.
Yeah, man.
Tag me. We'll get word out and get people out.
Appreciate that, bro, for
yeah,
sure.
Man. Always high energy with Chris. Do you pronounce your last name Giles?
It is Giles. Yep, like a
It
J.
is Giles?
Yes,
I've
sir.
always called you Chris.
It's
Chris
okay.
Giles.
Listen, you know what? My whole life I've had that. So that doesn't bother me in the slightest, honestly. I appreciate you asking though.
Christopher Giles. You got it. Man, well, the song that you submitted, you submitted a bunch of songs and I listened to all of them. I was like, I really want to put up Lights in Stereo.
Yeah, it's a cool jam.
Yeah. I mean, they're all cool, but the energy in that was really cool. So you won the poll and everything and the March Artist of the Month and, really cool song and everything, but we're going to listen to like 5 or 6 of your songs and everything and get to know Christopher Giles a little bit. We're going to go ahead and cue up. I don't know if you heard like with the show and everything, I started my intro song and I already had
I like it. That was good.
I had your SoundCloud up, but I guess in the background, SoundCloud was playing behind
that's
the intro
hilarious.
song. So I'm like, oh my gosh, that's why I always wait to bring like the person on because, it's like juggling all these technical things behind the scenes.
Murphy's Law, man. Trust me when I say you got to be laid back, right? I mean, think about gig nights, right? You got to be laid back. And I'm pretty high strung, but once the show starts, I'm good. But other than that,
it's anxiety until you get started, right?
Yep.
I know. Yeah. That's kind of the way it is with me too. Yeah. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring up your first song.
Okay.
But while I'm doing that, with each one of the songs, I'd like you to kind of cue it up and kind of tell us a little bit about the song.
Awesome.
If you would.
Absolutely.
So the first song we're going to play is Wherever You Go.
Yeah, that was the first song I ever wrote and recorded. So, what's funny is it's a great recording and I really like it. And it's so funny because when you step back and think about being a songwriter, so I started playing in cover bands first and then progressing to teaching myself, kind of guitar, teaching myself piano, teaching myself to sing really correctly. And then I was really at the time was leading worship and doing a lot of stuff with the church. And started, really being in the spirit and being moved to, lyrics in my head and words and stuff. And then I actually I read a book one time about writing songs. As weird as that sounds, I'm like, how do you write a song? I had no idea. And it gave ideas and it kind of fit the way that I process. And so after a while, I really kind of got the itch to say, you know what, from an artistic perspective, I write all the time. I was writing devotionals. I write technical documents for work. So for me, writing was something that has become part of my life. So I'm like, you know what? Let me try this. And so this song, not only being the first one, this song was written about a moment. So Forgive me, guys. I'm an emotional guy, so
That's okay.
it's
Oh,
so this
I
song,
know that
yeah.
about you.
Oh God,
That's
I'm such an
awesome, man.
emotional. So this song is written about a moment, like literally Joy used to, when our first years together. She would always walk me outside when I left for work, and she would always stand in the doorway. And so this song was written about that moment. Every morning she would walk me out. So this song literally was inspired by a moment.
That's really awesome.
Whole
That's
song.
really
Yeah,
deep, man.
appreciate that.
That's really, really deep. So it's great that you're emotional like that.
Yeah,
All right. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk a little bit about your faith and music and
great,
everything a little bit later.
awesome, dude.
But let's go ahead and listen to the first track,
All right, man.
Christopher Giles with Wherever You Go.
She waits by the front door anticipates like the times before. Where she moves, I can't help but feel this way. She belongs with me. Wherever you go, I'll be waiting for your call. Wherever you go, I'll be right outside your door. Anything to She waves from the front porch. Dark hair and eyes, window to her soul. When she smiles, I can't help but feel this way. She belongs to me. Wherever you go, I'll be waiting for your call. Wherever you go, I'll be right outside your door. Anything to When I see your face, it just takes me away. All I know, when I'm by her side and I melt in her eyes, just takes me away. Take me home, I'll go. Take me home with you. Wherever you go, I'll go too. Yeah. Wherever you go, I'll be waiting for your call. Wherever you go, I'll be right outside your door. Take me home, I'll go. Take me home with you. I'm with you to the end with you.
And that is Wherever You Go by Christopher Giles. All right.
It's always so odd
Hold on,
listening
I'll
to
tell
my
you, that's the
music.
only thing
Is
I'm
that
out-
weird for
out
you, man?
loud.
Is that weird for you to listen to your music?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why. It's not a bad thing. It's just so interesting, you know?
Is that one of your songs there?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know why it does that. It must be the background.
Like
of
a
SoundCloud.
random, maybe? Yeah.
That's why I always say, that's why I'm always like, oh, send MP3s
Yeah,
because all this weird
right.
stuff from these
Oh,
platforms.
I'm sorry. I should have done that for
That's
you.
okay. We'll work through it. I'll
Yeah.
just bring it up every time and just scroll down.
If you go to the tracks tab, typically that has them listed there. But again, you know, I'd have to be on there. But yeah, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, no problem. Really awesome song, man. Really catchy and everything, you know, wherever you go. That's
Not bad for a first song, right? I was pretty happy
Yeah,
with
not bad
first
at
time
all.
out, you know?
Yeah. I'm looking at the comments. Great song. Love the story behind it. Yeah, absolutely. And this song is beautiful. You can tell your music comes from your heart. It rocks. Those are some of the comments that are coming
Oh,
up.
that's wonderful, man. I gotta tell you, it is something that before I got into singing, you know, that I gravitated to, you know what I mean? Everybody's got their style and their like, you know, for me, I always gravitated to music that I could feel and connect
Yeah.
to. So for me, I was so happy that my music had that. When I hear it, I feel it, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's positive.
that's really awesome. Well, yeah, you know, it's really important, you know, especially if you're an emotional person naturally, you know, and a passionate person.
Yeah.
And you know, you gravitate towards that. So, you know, talking about that, that kind of leads me to my first question on people getting to know you.
Mhm.
So, like the early days for Christopher Giles, what got you into music, into like the interest of music in
Yeah.
the early years? I know your brother played a
Yep.
part, stuff like that.
He did. He was a big influence. So, you know, it's always being a huge fan of music and really connecting to it at a very young age. I can remember just sitting in my room. You know, one of the best Christmases we ever had was getting a boom box. Remember back in the day, you know, and
Yeah,
having those. I mean, that was
big
probably
boom
one of the
box.
best Christmas gifts ever. And so my brother and I both had our own, and we just sit in the room, each of us, you know, for hours and hours and hours, and just listen to music and try to catch and record off, you know, Casey Kasem or one of those. And but
Oh, yeah.
my brother for sure, you know, he started drumming at like, you know, 10, 11 years old out in the barn. We grew up on a farm, horse farm, and he would drum. And so I would just go out and listen to his bands and stuff like that. And I got to be honest, I never did anything musically till my early 30s. And then
Mhm.
just kind of was kind of inspired to say, you know what, you know what it was one night I was out with some friends doing karaoke and somebody made a comment to me and I was like, oh, I never really thought about it. So, and then it kind of
Yeah.
put this seed. And I have a friend of mine, Jeff Harris, who's down in South Florida, incredibly gifted and accomplished musician. And so at the time he was my friend and he's like, I'll tell you a really funny story. We were out at a bar and I told him, I said, you know, I think I want to get into a band. Never done it. Didn't know what that meant. Had no clue. He goes, really? I go, yeah. He goes, well, I'm going to tell you something. Here's the deal. He said, there's either one of two things that's going to happen. You are going to get on stage and you are going to hate it and never do it again the rest of your life. Or you're going to get on stage and love it and never stop doing it. And so for me, so that night we were out at some random bar. There's a band playing. Well, he knew the band and they literally were like, hey, you're going to start the next set doing a song. And I go, I don't know any songs. Like, I don't know, like I'm not in a band, but he goes, listen, what do you got to lose? So I got up in a crowded bar in Boca, Florida, you know, Boca Raton, and sang Cumbersome was the first song I think I got on the band with.
Okay.
And, you know, it was so fun. And ready for this? So coming out of the bridge, the cable came out of the mic. And so mind you, I'd never been really on stage to practice any of that situation. So
Yeah.
I didn't skip a beat. The mic fell out. I had no mic. I reached over and grabbed the guitarist's mic and didn't miss the track at all, man. Kept going.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, that was kind of my first thing. And, you know, I'll share some insight and I know you'll appreciate this is, you know, when I first got into the band, I had these expectations and I started doing auditions. Right. And man, it was so bad because I didn't realize, oh, I got to know how to count measures. You got to know when the chorus starts. You got to know when to come into the second verse. You got to know when the
Sure.
bridge starts.
Yeah.
Scott, I
Absolutely.
had no idea, right? So I went in and my first auditions were not very good because I just didn't know what I didn't know, you know?
Yeah.
But being a very driven person, I started studying and I still do. I study lyrics as if I'm studying for a test and I test myself. Like I'll pick up and I'll go, all right, Chris, what is the start of the second verse? What's the second line of the second verse? And then I'll write that. and then I'll check it and see if I'm right. Like I literally
Right,
quiz
yeah.
myself. So
Sure.
anyway, yeah. So just
Yeah.
kind of decided to do the thing, and
That's awesome.
didn't know how to sing professionally or really. So over the years, just kind of grew it and started, taking
in the
lessons and
But in the early
yeah,
days,
yeah.
were you were listening to music with
Oh
the
yeah,
boxes and everything? What kind of music were you into?
yeah.
Were you
Great
like
question.
me with the parachute pants and like
For sure. Yeah,
and I did all that stuff.
absolutely, bro.
And then
I
I got
miss
into
those.
metal, and then I got into Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so mixed. Like in high school, I was big into like Metallica and those kind of bands, being in
Mhm.
the late 80s, right? I graduated in 1990, telling my age. But I'll tell you funny. So I got into music into a band, my first band, let's say it was like the late 90s. Well, I had been listening to R&B during that time. Didn't know
Yeah.
any of the bands. I was getting to the band. They're like this. Hey, we're going to do Creed. We're going to do Bush. We're going to do Matchbox 20. We're going to these bands. Scott, I would literally was like this. Great. I'll go listen to them. I didn't even know who they were. That's how
Oh, really?
bad I was. So detached from the rock scene at that point. I was just an R&B guy, still am, but so I really had to study even harder because I didn't know the music at all.
Yeah. Hey, there ain't nothing wrong with R&B, man.
I love it. It's my
Yeah,
favorite.
that's good, man. It'll definitely get you moving. That's for
Oh
sure.
yeah, man.
And
It's
I'm
still
sure
my favorite.
you merge that into your original stuff too. It's your roots,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. Yep.
It always comes back to that too.
For sure,
Yeah.
man.
All right. So the next track, I'm gonna play I Can't Breathe.
Okay, good one. Speaking of R&B, right? I mean, that's a great segue, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Tell
one,
us a little
man.
bit about that because you said it had to do to the social impacts.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, wow, how do I even parlay this one? So in general, over the last few years, there's been a lot of, stuff socially speaking, right? Injustices coming to light, a lot of things, a lot of movements, right? And a lot of, really tough subjects, really hard things to discuss. And so for me, having a platform, I guess you could call it, and please know I'm not coming from any type of, arrogance or anything like that, but, having a platform, I felt like it was my responsibility to do something with that. So I Can't Breathe was a statement that, obviously was articulated in a very bad situation. And I took it and said, you know what, let me see if I can take something that is really hard right now and make it something positive. So the song, and I actually ended up dedicating it to the Pulse victims. And I even got the local TV. They did a segment on it and stuff. And I gave money, like half the proceeds of the song went towards the Pulse victims.
Okay.
But it's about coming together. And so the song or the statement started with I Can't Breathe. And I added, kind of elaborated and said that I can't breathe without you. And what I mean is us together. We're literally one body, right? We're united. We're unified. Every single person on this earth is unique and different. So why are we judging people based on anything? That doesn't make any sense to me. It's illogical. So the song is really about unity and coming together and realizing that we have to do this together. We inhabit this earth together.
And I agree. I mean, I love songs about unity, and that's what it sounds like it's about is
Yeah,
a song about unity. There's more that unites us than divides us,
for sure.
and every so many people are unique, and diverse and all that, but
Yep.
we still can be united,
Yeah, for sure.
even if we don't always agree about things,
Yeah, it's not even about agreeing, right? It's about
right?
understanding. It's about validating, right? That's kind of
Yeah.
what it is, and it's funny because you'll appreciate that the song, the style. So every time I go in the studio to write, it is extremely organic. Like this song is not a rock song, and as I mentioned, that's why the segue was perfect. Is that I'm kind of an R&B guy. I wanted to try something a little closer to that avenue, so it's quite different from a style perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everybody looks at me, with the tattoos and all that stuff, and they're like, "Oh, he's got to be a rocker,"
Yeah,
and which I
right.
can be, but
Sure.
everybody that knows me well knows where my roots are and where my heart is. And so this song was quite different style wise compared to my other ones. But again, every song I write,
Mhm.
I go in and go, well, let's see what comes out.
Well, that's where your faith comes into it
Yeah.
also,
Yep.
seeing people through God's eyes and where the
Amen to that.
grace comes,
Seriously.
because I
Yep.
think is in
Absolutely.
our humanistic side of us, we're harder
Yeah.
then God,
Yeah, you're right.
that's where grace comes in, man.
That's exactly right. It definitely, a lot of my stuff is rooted in that spiritual foundation, being a believer. And really you mentioned grace because one of my favorite scriptures is out of Timothy, and it talks about, me being the worst of the worst, like the worst example, but yet the best example of faith, because I'm the last person that deserves it. But yet I'm such a great example, because if I can be saved, right, or if I can believe, or if I can, propose and give ripples of love in this world, everybody can, anybody can.
That's what Paul said, right?
That's right. That's exactly right.
That's right. All right, so let's check out "I Can't Breathe," the song about unity. Enjoy it, and we will come back and get to know Christopher Giles and his music a little bit more.
This is gonna start with you and me. For one world community. If we close our eyes, and we might see one love diversity. The time has come to make things right. For the world to join the fight. Let's take a stand and make things new. I can't breathe without you. The air is heaven from the wheel of time. If love is the answer, how can we be so blind? It all comes down to putting hate on the side. We all come together and breathe in your life, yeah. You know our hearts singing for love. One body up above. Search in your heart and you will see we are the same equality. The time has come to make a change. Love never comes from hate. Let's take a stand and make things new. 'Cause I can't breathe without you. The air is heaven from the wheel of time. If love is the answer, how can we be so blind? It all comes down to putting hate on the side. We all come together and breathe in your life, yeah. See, yeah. Breathe in your life, yeah.
I Can't Breathe. Uh-oh, here we go again.
There's SoundCloud again. Helping us.
Yeah, that's SoundCloud. Yep. Yeah, awesome song, man. You know, I can hear that on Z88, man.
Right.
Yeah, very
I was really
cool.
happy with that. Yeah.
Awesome. We have some comments coming in.
Great.
Let's see. Great tune, loving the beat at Roxx. Paul is on. Paul's
Oh,
Snetzinger.
Snetzinger. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, hey, Chris, I hope you talk about From This Moment. It's
Oh,
very
that's right.
special
Yeah.
for us.
They
So I
use
guess,
it as their wedding song. Yeah, I worked with Paul, him and his wife Trenda. They use it in their wedding. So I was quite obviously honored to have that. So yeah, Paul, thank you guys so much. I love you guys. Great supporters, man. Paul and Trenda.
awesome.
Wow.
And is it on SoundCloud also?
I think it is. Yeah, it should be. So I wrote the song, for Joy. Believe it or not, it was an anniversary present. So I'm always trying to do unique things, with Joy and I. She's amazing, and so
Yeah.
like I'm always trying to find, like, if you were to talk to her, there's so many unique gifts in the house. The kids just roll their eyes because I'm so bad. But it was kind of one year, and I was like, what can I do something special? Every year trying to outdo myself. And so I wrote that song, about From This Moment. And again, it was written from a place. It was again a pivotal moment in our relationship, and inspires a song. And it's quite interesting, being a songwriter, because think about that. It only takes a second, right? A moment of our life, and you can birth something that now is, like a legacy, a song that's going to live on. So yeah. Joy's amazing. I'm very blessed with,
Oh, yes, you are. And
unbelievable.
she's a talented artist too.
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
following
she's
her art
incredible.
for a while too.
Yeah. She's incredible. She's the
Yeah.
best person I've ever met.
Yeah, she's awesome. You guys are a great couple. So
Thank
yeah,
you.
it's definitely a blessing to know you guys. That's why I was like,
Yeah.
hey, you guys and me and Melissa need to get together, man. We need to
Let's do
hang
dinner,
out,
right? Yeah.
do dinner or barbecue or something, man. Play some cornhole.
Hang out. Yeah, exactly. Or hang out at Muldoon's like we did, right?
Yeah, that was a good time. And you
That was fun.
sing and everything. It's always great time, great vibes and everything.
Man, for sure.
So, yeah, absolutely. So, all right, let's see here. We've got some people on here. They're saying
Nice.
great songs. They're enjoying the music and everything.
Great.
So, really great. So, when you write a song, how does it start for you? Does it explain how that process as a singer songwriter happens for you?
Yeah, for sure. For me, like I said, it started back, writing devotionals and being really wanting to be led in the Spirit, to be honest. I know it sounds weird even from a songwriting perspective, but for me, whether it was writing, but with a song, it really did start, or it continues, because I'm still writing and recording, but it starts with a concept of a style typically, and or a topic, right? So something on my heart, and whether that's spurned or grown from a thought or something I see or hear or read or whatever it might be, conceptually it starts with a topic, you know what I mean? And it was one of the things that I read in that book way back on writing songs, and I do a lot of elicitation for work. I go on site and I go to a room full of people and I ask them to brainstorm, right? So I literally facilitate brainstorming sessions. And so for me, it was taking that concept, and that's what it starts with me, is I start with a topic. So a lot of times, that happened to be my wife, which I'm thankful, grateful for her inspiration, truly, right, as my muse. But, and then from there, Scott, what I would do is like, okay, I have a topic. Let's use lights and stereo, right? You're going to love this. Right. One of your favorites, which was written from when we came back, we went out to Vegas to celebrate an anniversary. I wrote it about kind of the feeling of when we were walking down the street, with my friend, dear friend Shane and his wife. And we were like in Vegas together celebrating an anniversary. So it was that concept, right? It was like, okay, man, the lights and all these different things, right?
Yeah, right.
And then from a concept, what I do is then typically Rusty and I got a shout out to Rusty, who's going to be here later on the call. But, Rusty and I will get together. I come in with a concept. A lot of times I've written, to your point, I'll write, okay, here's a topic. what makes me think of that topic? And I'll start writing lines. And then what I have to do then is craft those into verses and choruses. So I'll go in with a lot of either it's words or phrases based on a topic. And then it kind of goes from there. And then I get with Rusty, and Rusty doing the composition side of it. I'll give him like, this is the style I'm feeling. And he'll be like, all right. He'll start jamming on some stuff, Scott, and I'd be like, and he'll be like, he'll keep going. He'll try a few things. And I'm like, ooh, that
You're
stop
like,
there. That's cool.
Like,
and then we start progressing, and it was like, okay, yeah. And so for me, the one thing when I got with Rusty and being a musician, Rusty is probably the most talented musician I've ever met. I mean, he plays every instrument. He has the ear for music. He's unbelievable. And so for a guy like that to be so talented, to have a #1 Billboard record to his credit, right, from a production standpoint, my one thing with him was this. My art is going to be the songwriting portion. So I will take your input and all that stuff, but I didn't want to be offensive, but I was like, that's the important thing to me. I have to be the one to finalize the lyrics because it's my voice, right? It's my art. Sure. And let him, and then from a composition perspective, once I pick a style, I'm like, that's it. Then I let him go with it. Like, you go build the song, I'm going to go craft the lyrics. But he would, we kind of sit and rough draft it. And then we would record a rough draft. And then I would take that, usually I take that back, Scott, and I'll kind of sit on it for a few weeks and just listen to it over and over and over and over. And then I refine, get the flow, make sure the words go and all that stuff. So I'll kind of take a draft song and then really refine it. But it starts with a seed or topic, and then I build out to content, and then I have to craft it from there, like clay,
Yeah, that's awesome. Did you learn that from like topical Bible studies?
No, I really, initially bought a book about how to write songs. And when they were talking about brainstorming, I'm like, oh, that, I do that stuff. I literally do this for work. So it made sense to me. And so what somebody has to do is you have to figure out your process. Like Joy and I are a great example. We are polar opposites. And so we do things absolutely differently. Process wise, but our core is the same. Our beliefs, our values, our foundation, our goals, but the way we do it is total opposite. So find your voice and find the way that you can write or create, you know what I mean? I would tell anybody, find a way to find expression in your life, whether it's through art or words or actions or something, right?
Right. That's a great way to be too. Yeah. Because everybody's different in the way they accomplish the same goal.
Right.
Depending on their gifts, their abilities, and their weaknesses too.
Big one, yeah.
Because when we have weaknesses, we tend to want to. Well, if you're wise, you surround yourself with people who have those strengths. That's right. To accomplish those same goals. So I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, you can have the same outcome, but the way you accomplish it could be different depending on your giftings. Yeah,
that's such a wise statement, Scott, about that. Honestly, that's a really wise statement, because so often in society, and I can tell you being a father right now and really investing a lot of time into Josiah, I'm trying to teach him with the thought of a lot of things in the world that they view as weakness is really a strength. Like that's being wise, right? If you admit your weaknesses, you're not weak. You're not less than anybody. You're actually quite the opposite, in my opinion. You're more wise than anybody, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I love that. Surround yourself, with the right people.
Yeah, you're exactly right. All right. So we're going to go ahead and with what you just said, as a father too, there's a lot of wisdom in that. Lights and Stereo. Are you ready?
I am so ready. It's a great song, high energy. I wanted to have fun with it. Honestly, when I went to Rusty, I'm like, I already know, I was so ready for it. I'm like, I have an idea, I have a concept. And to be honest with you, the term Lights and Stereo was actually Rusty's. I'll give Rusty credit for that. That was his phrase when we were writing. He threw it out there and I'm like, that is so different. I'm like, I like it. And then, that's a really fun song. And so, now you can imagine, Joy and I in Vegas, and that's where it was, kind of birthed from and grown from there with the expectation of just having fun, honestly.
Awesome. All right. Well, we're going to have fun listening to Lights and Stereo by Christopher Giles here, our artist of the month for March. Yes, here we go. Lights and Stereo. Rock it.
lucky with you, I hit the jackpot. Feeling lucky with you, I hit the jackpot. Vegas strip, but you can leave your clothes on. Can leave your clothes on. Can leave your clothes on. Cruise this town without a care in the world. This night never ends. You won't be singing. Whoa! It's dark outside and the lights are shining in stereo. Hear a big crowd, the wheel falls through the radio. I said it's dark outside and the lights are shining in stereo. She said the moon feels right, trying to get away now with no place to go. Let me sing. If you feel lucky like me, let me sing. Are you here with me? Let me hear you say, whoa. Are you lucky like me? Let me hear you say, dark outside and the lights are shining in stereo. Hear a big crowd, the wheel falls through the radio. I said it's dark outside and the lights are shining in stereo. She said the moon feels right, trying to get away now with no place to go.
Fun song.
Yeah. Awesome, man. I love that song. And the team over here, which the team consists of Viana and Melissa and me. And we're all like listening to the songs and posting them and the videos and everything. And we're like coming away like dancing
Right? You
and
can't help but
singing
move
the
to that one.
songs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was talking to them, they're like, oh man, I got this in my head now.
That's
That's
good.
always a great sign.
Yeah, for sure, man. The
Yeah.
seed is planted.
Yeah, that's definitely a catchy song. Very, very
Appreciate it.
worthy for sure. Yeah, man. I love that. So you and Rusty doing it, man.
Yeah, I think he and I probably had the most fun with that one. I love to give him freedom. He is such a genius musically, like with tracks like that.
Yeah.
We get a concept and then he'll come back, no joke, Scott, and he'll come back and play me the track. I'm like, oh my, like blown away. Like that is so cool, so
Yeah.
exciting. Yeah, the creative process, like, I've always been one, that I always enjoyed practice. I always enjoy studio time. A lot of things, that as a music, an artist, a lot of people don't really care for that side of it. Well, me, I love that side of it. I love the creation. I love the studio time, and it's arduous and it's hot and it's
Yeah.
exhausting. And Rusty's telling me sing that line 50 times so I can get the right one. And I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's exhausting. But when you get to hear that, it's amazing.
It is an amazing thing.
Yeah.
For me, it's very fascinating, the whole process, because I get very deep and philosophical and
Right.
spiritual about it,
Sure.
about the whole process. Because I go, oh man, if we are so into it from where something comes out of nothing,
Right.
nothingness, and becomes this entity, and I'll merge the spiritual aspect
For sure.
into it. Could you imagine how God,
Right.
with the creativity
Yeah.
and all his creation and all that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you get a glimpse of another attribute of God in a
Yep.
smaller way,
Yeah.
but
It's
I
a
mean,
reflection, right? It's kind of like marriage. They talk about marriage being, the example, right, of the bride and God. So
Mhm.
it's very similar, right? You're growing something from nothing, and there's so many things in life like parallels and examples of that, right? That to me, I should say for me, I don't want to speak for everybody, but for
Yeah.
me, I see things to your point. I'm going, see, there it is. There it is. There it
Mhm.
is. There's
Yeah.
proof, or there's the cementing. There's the proof for me that I see it all the time.
Yeah.
But if you're not looking for it, I guess you can miss it in theory,
Yeah.
but for me, I
Absolutely.
see
It's
it
a
all over the place.
confirmation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Absolutely. So, speaking about that, talk, talk to us a little bit about how faith and music all plays a role in what you do, because I know when I create music, you
Mhm.
hear it, like even in the intro song, Water into
Yeah.
Wine. Come
Yeah.
on, that's obvious
Great
right
song.
there.
Yep.
But it's not so like in your face,
Mhm.
it's kind of more like how U2 does it. I kind of learned it
Yeah.
a little bit,
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a great example.
how it's very, you know,
Subtle
you're-
almost.
yeah, it's subtle, but it's representative of
Yeah.
something else bigger and deeper.
Yeah.
So
If you get a chance, listen to on that list there after we're done, listen to Back to You. It's could be like a crossover in general. Because I agree with your sentiment, I think having such I'll call it challenge. I find myself challenged all the time. And maybe it's because I'm a type A personality that goes 180 miles an hour. I find myself challenged all the time. So for me, the spiritual side comes from a place of humility and grace and forgiveness, and even in myself, right? Like, meaning I have I do so many things that I'm like, what am I doing? And it's not a bad thing, right? And I think so often the legalistic side
Mhm.
of love comes in, and that's the side that nobody, that's the side that's really hard to swallow. It's hard to grasp. So for me, it's always been, okay, if I'm going to try to share, right, the first thing I better do, and you've read this, the first thing we're doing is, if we're not sharing love first, if I'm not loving everybody without judgment, without condemnation, I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm the worst of the worst, but
Right.
I'm blessed beyond measure. That's what it's rooted in, is I'm trying to evoke and emit and interject and create ripples into this world, starting with love and positivity.
Well,
You know what I mean?
you and I are on exactly the same track as that.
Yeah.
Who am I to judge,
Oh
man?
my gosh, my
Because,
Lord.
we all kind of find ourselves kind of,
Yep.
doing that every once in a while, and then we have to kind
Mhm.
of back up. But,
Human nature.
it's about love, man.
Yep.
It's
It
about
is.
love, and I
It
believe
starts
God
and ends
wants,
there for sure.
yeah, absolutely. And I'm on a journey with learning how to love
Oh
and,
man, it's
love
tough.
God and love one another.
It's probably, it's if you think about outside of our train of thought, it's the one free thing in the world, and it doesn't mean it doesn't come with, the weight and the repercussions, but it's free, you know. And so, like, the choose love or free love back in the 60s,
Yeah,
that's,
right.
it's true. It's the truth. And it wasn't
Yeah.
even about, the church or religion. It's about love. It's about the root of who our creator is. And so, listen, again, yeah, as you said, I'm the last person to be judging anybody. And I told my son this weekend, I was talking to him about some issues he was going through. And I said, son, I'm the last one to judge you, because I'm just as guilty, but I'm here to mentor you and be your accountability partner as your father.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Is that not, again, the reflection and an example of the same thing that we go through? Hey, Scott, I'm not here to judge you, buddy. Listen, I'm here to
Right.
help you and hold you accountable and mentor you.
That's because Scott knows what wretched man he is, and so does
Exactly.
Chris.
Yes, for
Everybody.
sure, man. I'm the worst of the worst, man. I'll be the first one to tell you, man. But I'll
That's
love on you just as hard,
absolutely, yeah, man. Um, a little sidetrack on that.
Yeah.
What are some of your influences, man?
Oh, that's a
You know,
great question.
what
Yeah,
what are some
musically
stuff that
speaking,
you're
wow.
listening to now that make you
Yeah,
also that kind of when you started getting into music and
yeah.
everything? I know you said R&B and everything.
Yep,
What, what are those bands that are like
that's really cool.
get
Yeah,
you
that's a great question.
inspired?
That is a great question. So, you know, um, I if I were to like pick like some of my all-time favorite artists, and thus would be, influencers just due to what I like to hear, listen to. So I'll give you some diversity too, because Brian McKnight is probably one of my all-time favorite artists,
Oh,
right?
wow.
I mean, I just absolutely
He's
love and
awesome.
connect with his stuff. Like, when
Mhm.
I hear it, I'm absolutely right there with him. Keith Urban is another one
Wow,
that,
yeah.
man,
He's
I
got
mean,
such a great vibe, right?
oh my gosh, it's amazing. His
Yeah.
songwriting, I feel like it's my writing. Like at times I hear it, me and Joy will sit there and she'll look at me and go, that's something you would write. Like, you know, and I'm like, that's such a cool thing, you know? So we connect,
Yeah.
you know, Keith Urban's another one. Trying to think. So it would typically be that, you know, believe it or not, I actually gravitate mostly to female singers, which
Mhm.
is really interesting, you know, and it's probably, you know, interesting the way that I push my voice the way that I do and sing the way that I do. But, you know, like, you know, Whitney Houston or Anita Baker or people like that, as crazy as that sounds. Recently, like Leela James, if you haven't listened to her, she's recent, but she's an R&B singer with some soul, man. These people got soul. And that's what I, you know, going back to what we talked about earlier is I have to be able to connect to it. So when I hear somebody that pours their heart out and they've got soul and passion and
Yeah,
love, oh my gosh, I'm there, dude. I'm there.
absolutely. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really great. Now, the next song I'm going to play, Let Me Know.
Yeah, and so this, believe it or not, it's a bit of a oh gosh, it's a bit of a challenging topic. Meaning for me to be always pushing positivity. This was me sharing real life. This is life, and it's actually probably my favorite song of my songs that I like to listen to. I could listen to the song over and over. So this is my favorite song.
Oh,
Let
favorite
Me
song.
Know is about kind of being in a tough. Listen, marriages or relationships are really, really hard, right?
Yeah.
And so to me, it speaks to the transparency and the level of communication that has to happen for a couple to be successful and go to that next level is you got to be 100% open, lay it out there, who you're going to be. So this is kind of that going through a rough time and you're asking the question going, am I still the guy? Am I still here? Are we still here? Are we still here together? You need to let me know, you know what I mean? So I can, you know, kind of adjust accordingly. Right. Anyway. Yeah. That's kind of the root of it. So.
Awesome. Well, let's hear it. Let Me Know by Christopher Giles, our artist of the month.
Does your heart still beat to my drum? Am I the one who holds the key to your love? When you hear my voice, does it fill your soul? Do you want to make this work or just let it go? And I'm gonna let you know, and you seem to wanna leave. Listen to me, but I'm gonna let you go. I guess we'll wait and see if we were meant to be. Let me know. Have you already gone? You never look back. Where's that sparkle in your eye? Can't you give me that? Do I capture your heart? Am I the man you knew before? This is love with a second chance. Is it worth fighting for? And I'm gonna let you know, and you seem to wanna leave. Listen to me, but I'm gonna let you go.
All right. That is Christopher Giles' favorite song.
Of my
Awesome,
own, right?
man. Yeah. That's cool, man. And you have a video for that one too, right?
Yeah, I got a few videos out. I was really fortunate to, God, have an album put out, get signed, have an album put out, had music videos and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was fun, and having joy in all the videos and everything. We had a good time with that as well, creating those. But yep, I got a video. I think I've got like, gosh, I think 4 videos out there, maybe. If you go to
Yeah.
YouTube, they're on
Yeah.
there. Yeah, that's
Yeah, and
one
if you
thing.
haven't checked out some of the videos are really great out there. So be sure to check that out. We've been dropping those links. Also, send me some other of your videos.
Okay.
So for the rest of the month, because even though
Yeah.
the interview is over, you're still the artist of the month. So send us
Right.
over some of the other videos so I
Perfect.
can post them
Awesome, dude.
so we can get word out about those.
Great. Thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah, and you'll see Joy in the videos. Paul was going, wasn't this Joy's introduction into your videos?
Yeah, Joy, that was the first one. Yeah, Joy is in every one of my videos. Actually, Back to You was my first video, which was actually probably one of the better videos. It's almost like a story, and I really did come up with a storyline with the video producer. So yeah, Joy's in all of them, of course, as she should be. My video vixen.
You're a smart man.
I know, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, you need to do one that also shows some of her art too, man.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah, her art is
Do a song
incredible.
that like merges
I
her
know.
art into it too. That would be cool.
Yeah. Do you know that I play piano? I taught myself piano. I played every day, but it's a piano that she painted and was part of Central Florida. They picked 10 artists to do pianos. She did an abstract piano and then they auctioned them off for this like kids school. And I bought it. And
I
so
think
at the
I
time,
saw that.
yeah,
I
it's
think I saw,
really
did you
cool.
post that on like Facebook a little
Yeah,
while?
it is
Like,
so neat.
what was that, like a couple years back?
Yep. It's so
Yeah,
cool, man. So I had to teach
that was
myself piano.
cool.
I'm like, I bought a piano, but I bought it because it was her art.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Oh,
Yeah.
I was saying to Paul if he wanted
Mhm.
to join us on the interview briefly to say something, you're welcome to join us. Um, just for like a quick comment or a quick
That's
question or
cool.
something like that. If you'd like to do that, let us know. If not, if
Nice.
you're shy, that's okay too.
And is Rusty calling in? I know you mentioned Rusty might jump on at 8, huh?
Yeah, I got to look out for Rusty.
Yeah. But, I've been fortunate to be, it's funny, you go back to the creative side. So my mother's an artist and Joy's an artist.
Oh,
My
really?
brother's a drummer. And so, yeah, I've been surrounded by creativity, thankfully. My dad trains horses. So, you start thinking of the root stuff of that and what comes into being, kind of open-minded and creativity and allowing expression to come through. So yeah, my mother, yeah, I have a lot of
Yeah,
influences.
absolutely. Artistically and creativity and
Happy birthday to my
everything.
mother today, actually, too.
Oh, really? It's your mother's
Yeah,
birthday.
it sure is.
Well, a big shout out from us here at Scott Rocks Live and her son right here. Happy birthday. Awesome. That's great, man. Chris, man, how many tattoos do you have, man?
You know what my statement now is? I have one, and it starts at my ankles and it goes to my wrists.
That's it, man.
I
You're
mean,
like all the
it's
way up to your neck on the
yeah,
V
man. I'm
line.
almost covered. I'm running out of real estate, to be honest with you.
So when am I going to get started? I don't even have one
Are
tat.
you serious? Not one?
Yeah, I need to start.
Do you want one?
Yeah, I think I do.
You're like, I think I do.
I
But you
never
know
did.
what? It's
I
the
never
hardest part is finding that first one and being, because it's such a big moment, right? And then from there, like, oh yeah,
And then
you
after
get
that,
one.
you're like hooked, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Because that's the way I am. If I'm gonna do something, I want to like I'll like get one to see, and if it hurts too bad,
It
'cause
does hurt, but
I'm a wuss when it comes to that. But then I would be like, oh man, I want to get a whole sleeve, man.
yep. That's how it starts, Scotty.
Yep. All right, man.
Melissa, watch out. That's
might
where it
have-
starts.
I might have to pick your brain on that.
I'm here. I'm here. And actually, Rusty could probably hook you up. Rusty
Oh,
does.
really?
Yeah, he actually has learned to tattoo. He does tattooing as well.
Nice.
Rusty's multi-talented. Who he kidding? What can he do?
That's awesome, man. So it's funny. I didn't know you. I heard you say you led worship. You
Yep.
used to lead worship.
Yep. I've led worship, a few different churches, and I used to actually preach at. I used to do Friday mornings. I would even get up and do some preaching to God. What's the name? Oh, it was over in Sanford. There was this men's group. This place. I'm trying to remember. Teen Spirit, or it was over there in Sanford.
Teen Challenge.
Teen Challenge. I used to go
Teen
there Friday
Challenge. I
mornings,
used to
and
work with them.
yeah, they're great. So I used to go over there Friday mornings and actually preach as well and do worship over
Really?
there.
Do
Yep.
you know this about me? I used to do prison ministry for
Do
20
you know I
years.
did prison ministry as well?
Really? I
Yeah,
used to work for Bridges of America. I don't know
that's
if you ever heard
amazing.
of them.
Did
I
you go
worked
there
for
and
them.
preach or do worship or both?
I worked full time in prison ministry and
Wow.
criminal justice ministries
No
for
kidding.
16 years. Yeah,
Wow.
man. And
Do
I
you know
was like
Buddy
the cool guy
Belasia?
with who?
You ever heard of Buddy Belasia? He was
Yeah,
over
the
in
name
Seminole
sounds
County.
familiar, but I
Yep.
don't really know him really
Yeah.
well.
He was a friend of mine that did it as well. That's so cool, man. I got to tell
I used
you,
to work for Christian Prison Ministries and
wow,
Frank Costantino, who used to be like an ex-gangster and all
that'll
that.
change your perspective, won't
That's a
it?
whole other story. Yeah, man. And then I used to lead worship. So I used to be the rocker in prison. I was
Nice.
like famous in prison, man. It was
That
pretty
is so
cool. And I
cool.
started
Yeah.
bands and everything and led worship. It was awesome.
That is awesome, man. Yeah,
And
I actually got to I did that for a few years, and I even went to death row one year for Christmas. And I got to tell you want to change your perspective on life, to see that, go behind the walls a little bit.
that'll do it.
It'll change it. Yeah,
Absolutely, man. Yeah. I met a lot of great, wonderful people
yep,
in prison, their families and
for sure.
everything. And some of the people that tune into the show, some of the artists
Right.
that submit music and are on the show, I've known from prison
That's
too.
wonderful.
And
Listen,
I used to incorporate music as therapy in
yeah.
prison, you
It goes
know?
back to what we were saying earlier, right? I mean, who are we here to judge anybody, man? I got to tell you,
Absolutely.
I have a saying that we're all one bad decision away from being there.
I
I mean,
agree.
so
I agree.
you're gonna get
Yeah.
judgment from me for sure, but
Yep. I agree. All right. We're waiting on Rusty, but in the meantime,
yeah,
I got a question for you.
go.
All right. For everybody out there, what is something that you would like the people listening to know about you that people don't know?
Wow, that is such a great question. Something they don't know. There's lots of stuff that they don't know about me. What is something that I want them to know about me? Right? Because it's a different perspective.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that little twist because that definitely throws it. So what I want them to know. Um, I guess for me, the biggest thing or the biggest challenge that I have to overcome is, and it's probably everybody, but it's the preconceived notion of who I might be. You know what I mean? Is I think it's the reality of the grace that we spoke about truly, and it sounds weird, it sounds hokey, and it sounds corny, but it's so true for me is that, you know, being challenged and going through so much in my life, a lot of ups and downs, that, being humble and being graceful is really at my core and who I desire to be and what I want to project. Going back to the love influence, the ripples and stuff like that, is I really go out of my way to seek out opportunity to change this world, you know what I mean? And leave a legacy and not even in my name, right? It's not even about me. It's about creating a better world. So I think, as hokey as that sounds, that's probably the biggest thing that I would want people
No,
to know about me is my intent, is my heart.
that's not okay at all. So what's
Yeah.
the legacy you want to leave behind? What do you want people to remember you
Yeah,
about?
that I was just that I infused love into the people around me, right? That I was willing to infuse and do things for people around me, anything. And I try to be that person, truly, I try sincerely.
Well, I tell you, there ain't nothing wrong with that because there
Yeah,
ain't nothing greater than love. And what
that's
is
right.
love?
Yep.
God is love.
That's right. And so, but I'd tell you something that people don't know. So I was in the military. I played football in my 30s. I've had 3 knee surgeries. I grew up on a horse farm. like, there's all kinds of stuff, man.
You
I've
were in the
lived,
military, man?
yeah, I was, yep, I'm ex-Army. My dad was a Vietnam
Oh,
vet, 3 Purple Hearts, Marines.
wow.
So yeah, I've
Thank
had a
you
lot of
guys. Thank you
lives.
for your service, man.
Yeah. Yeah. My dad, man, incredible example to teach my brother and I hard work. You grew up on a farm. Anybody that grew up, in a farm. I grew up in small town Maine, and you learn the value of hard work for sure. So that is carried forward for me.
What time or how old were you when you moved from Maine to Florida?
What's funny is when I went in the Army is when I never moved back to Maine. So when I left Maine to go into the Army, I just kept going south as I don't like winter. So there's something you don't know. I hate winter. I hate precipitation. So once I left, I was going where the sun was. So I kept going south, never went back. But I do miss home, and all my friends back home and stuff. And I'm supposed to have a reunion hopefully this year. I'm really excited for. But in general, I wanted to live in the South where there wasn't any winter anymore.
Oh, really?
I don't like the cold at all.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You gotta be built for that.
you'd like to take off your shirt and everything and show off your
Exactly.
dad.
Yeah.
I
Of course
hadn't
I do.
noticed that at Muldoon's or anything.
No, listen, at Bike Week, are you kidding me? You see the picture behind me? That's from like Dirty Harry's playing there. That's one of the pictures from stage. But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
man, I would choose the warm weather anytime. So
Yeah, that's great.
I'm
All
an
right.
adult.
I'm going to play the last song that
Okay.
you said to play. It's called Start It Over.
Yeah.
So cue it up for us.
Yeah, for sure. What's funny is I put it last on the list because I also put it last on my CD for the reason of start it over, right? That's just kind of a funny thought. But the song itself, is about, choosing to be with somebody, right? When you're choosing to be with, I'm choosing to be with joy. I have to wake up every single day. To choose to be a believer, you have to wake up every single day. To be a good father, husband, partner, friend, all that stuff. You have to wake up every single day and choose it again. So the song is really, about Joy and I in that, in all the struggles and the heartache and, the bridge is so powerful in this song because it's like when the walls start caving in, I'm talking about when the flames are like, listen, when everything's falling apart, like I would still go back and do it over again. I would still do it again. So let's start it over. So it's about literally, looking at your partner and going, listen, as hard as this has been, I'll do it all over again. Let's start it over.
That's awesome. That's great. All right, let's listen to Start It Over, our artist of the month for March, Christopher Giles.
When I'm by my side, even miles apart, I keep you deep inside. I know I found it here with you. Say we're sick in love, but you know I wouldn't change a thing. They must be blind, that's how they see us, that's how it is with you. I'd love to say, to let you know I feel this way. If I had a chance, I would tell you I need you to listen. It was my last game to do it all again. If I could have my way, start it over. I'd start it over. I'd start it over again. Give me one more hour, give me one more day. If I have a chance, this is what I say. Start it over, I start it over, I start it over. How and you, girl. All this time with you, you know I do it all again. 1,000 times, I'm glad I found you. It was here we'll stay. Memories will fade, but you know I I'd rather have you stay right by my side, 'cause I found it forever me with you. If I had a chance, I would tell you I need you to listen. It was my last day to do it all again. If I could have my way, start it over. I'd start it over. I'd start it how I do. Give me one more hour, give me one more day. If I had the chance, this is what I'd say. Start it over. I'd start it over. I'd start it over. How would you go? If the world came crashing down, our love would stay on the test of time. We'd watch the cities crumble. I'd never move from by your side. Even when the walls are shaking, even if the flames are at our feet. If I had only one more breath, girl, I'd save you for eternity. Starting over, I started here with you. It was my last day to do it all again. I can have my way. Start it over. I start it over. I started here with you. Starting over and over again. Give me one more hour, give me one more day. If I had the chance, this is what I'd say. Start it over, start it over, start it over. How did you go?
Cool song, man.
Yeah, that is a really
I
cool
like
song.
that.
Yeah, that's my brother's favorite. He likes that one a lot. There's good drums in that one, probably why.
That's cool, man. Awesome. All right, Paul, you still out there, man? I don't think Rusty's gonna join us, man.
Yeah, probably not. You know, he's gigging. He's actually was finishing a gig, I think.
He might, yeah, he might be playing a little bit over. Sometimes I
Yeah.
have to play over.
Oh, yeah,
and
man.
stuff like that, you know, especially if people are tipping hard, you know.
Oh yeah, seriously, right? Listen, if
like-
they'll pay to play, baby.
Yeah, they're like, I'll give you a 50. I'll give you 50 if you keep on playing.
That's right. You know it, dude. Every time.
Oh, you know it, man. Yeah.
Money talks.
Money talks.
Hey, what do you say? Put it. Write your song on a $20 bill, and I'll take requests.
That's right. Yep. Absolutely. Yep. That's what happens when you're a full-time working musician,
That's right,
man.
Well, I cannot thank you enough, Scotty, for having me on, bro.
Well, brother, it's been great, man. You know, I can't wait. We really got to get together, man.
Yep, for sure. Let's do it.
I would
And I know
love it.
you're busy. Your schedule is probably as much as I'm busy during the day. Your evenings are spoken for often.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, I only had one. This is my only day off today.
Oh
and,
my gosh.
You know, I do the show and everything.
Right.
So, which I love. I mean,
Yeah.
I wish I could do more of this, you know.
Sure.
And you know, I love performing, but I would like to do a little bit less of it and a little bit more of
it's a lot.
this.
It's exhausting. Yeah.
You know, because then it becomes an endurance thing. Because
Yep.
especially like spring's here and like
Right. Oh, the heat. Oh my gosh.
I don't know if it's affected you as a singer. but
Yeah,
it's affected
it
me.
does. It does.
You know, I went to hit that high note in like Careless Whisper last night, and you ever blow through a trumpet and not it sounded
Yeah.
like that.
Was it Peter Brady when his voice was changing on the?
Yeah, it was kind of like that, and it happens every once in a while when the pollen
Yeah.
hits,
Yep.
and it never usually happens to me, and
Right.
but it never happens the second time because
Yeah. You
if
push
that
the-
happens, it doesn't crack or anything. It just
Sure.
I go to do it and nothing comes out.
Nothing comes out. Yeah. Exactly.
And it's like, oh my God, it's like it messes with my breath control and everything. So
Yeah, I have
spring-
really bad allergies, so it does mess with me. I take allergy, like before gig, I'll take an allergy pill. And to your point, it just dries me out, and so people probably wouldn't even notice. I feel it. I notice it. Right? I feel like just strain. You know what I mean? Like it irritated, like rough. It's like sandpaper. You know. So yeah, that's not fun.
Absolutely. No, it's not fun. It's quite humbling too. And
And you play a lot of outside gigs, Scotty. The heat must be, gosh, it's starting to get warm.
tomorrow I'm playing poolside at Margaritaville in
Nice.
Daytona Beach.
Good.
And so I play 12 to 3
Is
and
your
I
guitar
love
waterproof?
no.
Poolside.
Man, I dropped my guitar the other day and I dinged it all up. My like favorite guitar. So I'm looking for like another guitar because I
Oh
banged this
man.
one up pretty well. So yeah, that's that. I mean, those are all the things of a
Yeah.
working musician.
Yep.
Like
Exactly.
I'm playing 25, 26 shows a month. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to start if I could play more original, I want to put some originals, like
Yep.
original band together, like
Yeah.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you
Man, I
do.
know.
And do some
It's
festivals and stuff.
yeah.
You should
I'm
do that
sure. I
with
know.
Rusty. You should, I mean, you
Yep.
have some stuff and there's some festivals out there. So,
Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
right. I should. It's you know what it is being an empath is I hate putting people out. So when I get into these bands and they'll say, "Hey, we should do some of your music. It's good." And I'm like,
mhm,
"That's I just feel bad." I start to go, "Well, I don't want to waste time on my stuff." That's just me being insecurities and humility and all that stuff coming out. But you're absolutely right. And my label when they put the album out, they wanted me to tour nationally. And I was like, I have a
okay,
full-time job. You know what I mean? I'm like,
sure,
unless you're going to pay me like, back in the day, 20 years ago, they'd give you money up front to live on. Now,
sure.
you don't get
Not
that.
now.
So nope. So I said, thank you. I so
Yeah, you're
appreciate the thought.
smart.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
especially with a family, wife, and
Yep.
everything and
Exactly.
stuff. Man,
Exactly.
that's definitely smart. But
Yeah.
I mean, there's ways to do it,
Yep.
So I'm trying to figure out a way to carve out some time to do more original stuff. And
Good,
that's
man.
that's the platform for this show, for Scott Rocks
Yeah.
Live, is to get exposure for all this talent locally,
Right.
and not only locally but nationally and
Yep.
internationally. But I would love to get more artists locally because, as you know,
Yeah.
there's so much talent that
Oh
people
my
do
gosh.
not know
Never hear
about
about.
here,
I know.
and creativity here.
Yep.
You, Rusty, and so many other bands, Sound Theory,
Yeah. Oh,
and
you're right, man.
so I mean, creativity, there's nothing like it. Here's, when you actually perform a song that you've
Hmm.
written
Right.
and somebody goes, man, that really touched me, or I related to that song. There's like no feeling in the
Right.
world.
Of course. Yeah.
And that's different than playing a cover song
Yep.
where people are enjoying themselves. That's
Yep.
cool.
Yep.
It's fun, but in
But
a
if it's your
different way.
song, yeah.
The other way is a different type of connection that cannot be
Yeah.
duplicated. I mean, it's amazing. It's that
I've
whole
got to, yeah. You're right. And what's so funny is with the original scene too, and I'm sure you felt this too, Scotty, is the people that like the people that follow me, my friends, my family, because I call them that, because I can call them fans, but that's sometimes a little bit too obtuse for me. Like I
yeah,
consider them friends and family because they're
yeah,
so supportive. Like they will, for original, they will follow you to the ends of the earth. And I've got literally, I said in my bio, but I've got over 1 million plays worldwide. And I used to have people reach out to me from other countries, ask Joy, and we'd be like blown away that people from other countries would reach out. And I'm like, wow, that
yeah,
is unbelievable. To your point, right? It's like,
yeah.
wow,
It's
this is
awesome.
amazing. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight, man, and being the artist of the month from March. And please send more of those
I
videos
will.
and music. I want to post something every day for the
Okay.
rest of the month,
All
whether
right.
it's a song or a video,
Cool.
because I want people to know more about Christopher Giles. And so, man, it's been great. I enjoyed the interview. I think everybody else did. Trying to see the comments here. I think Rusty got busy,
Yeah, that's okay.
because,
I kind of didn't think he would make it, but I so appreciate the thought, honestly, because he is amazing, and I would have loved, give him a shout out, because Rusty Wilmot is a genius, a musical genius, and so he performs out by himself. He performs in bands. He's been my guitarist over years and years, and he's a producer. I mean, the guy is just a talent. So I definitely want to make sure his name is, as we've been mentioning, because he deserves that, and
absolutely. And I
yeah.
agree. I mean, Rusty is so talented. And if you ever need any like recording and production work, definitely see him check him out. I'm
Sound
gonna try
guy,
to.
production. Dude, he's the best. He's probably the best sound guy I've ever had. Like
Yeah,
at a gig, he'd be the guitarist doing sound for the band, but it was perfect. Like if people that can mix a band at a lower volume, that's talent because most people just
yeah,
push volumes, you know what I mean? He
yeah,
is super talented guy. So if you need him for sound, guitarist,
yeah.
anything, he's
What's
amazing.
really cool is, like the way you work with an idea and the lyrics and everything,
Hmm.
and you're able to relay that over to Rusty,
Right,
and he's able to like capture what you're feeling in the
right,
music as a producer.
right.
It's not always easy to find.
No, you're spot
Definitely,
on with that.
definitely stick with Rusty. And
Yeah.
anybody out there, if anybody is interested in working with Rusty, definitely reach out to me or
Yep.
Christopher, and we'll link you up with Rusty.
He's amazing.
Because I know he enjoys it also, the creative latitude also
Yeah,
to
he
work in the
does.
studio also because
For
he's a
sure.
performer, but
Yep.
also he loves working in the studio also. So a great shout out
Absolutely.
to Rusty.
For
All
sure.
right.
All
Thank you,
right,
brother,
Scott.
for joining me. You have a
Thank
good
you,
night. I'm going to
man.
go have some dinner.
All right, man. Well, thank you guys. And thanks to everybody that tuned in, man. I was getting texts and messages, and I know you were as well. And I just can't thank everybody enough for that. It means so much to me. It always has. So thank you, Scott, Melissa, Viana, you guys for having me. And I will send you some more stuff tomorrow. But listen, go get some food. And I love you. And we'll chat soon, I'm
Brother.
sure.
Love you too, man. All right.
See
Tell
you guys.
Joy I said hello, and let's get together real soon.
All right, bro. Sounds
And
great.
I appreciate you sharing your love with us.
Amen. Hey,
All
likewise,
right.
man.
Have a good night, man.
Thanks, Scott. See you, buddy.
God bless you, brother.
See you, man.
All right. Bye.